Hey guys, in this video we're going to be building an API based project using FastAPI, and we're going to use RapidAPI new VS Code extension to do all the testing and most of the major work. So RapidAPI recently released their new VS Code extension and also the RapidAPI Studio. Using the VS Code extension, you can do a bunch of stuff like testing your API directly from VS Code, generating code spinets, adapting to different VS Code teams, and a lot of other stuff that I'm going to show you in this video. So let's get started with it. So right now I am in my VS Code, and the first thing we want to do is to install the RapidAPI client VS Code extension. Now this is very easy and simple and quick also. The first thing you need to do is just to come into your extensions tab. So open up VS Code and come into the extensions tab. Once you're in here, what you just need to do is to search RapidAPI client. Right here, you should see it already as you're searching it, RapidAPI client, and it should be part of the list right here. Once you get there, just click on install. So that didn't take up to 10 seconds to install, which was very quick. And as you can see, it has been installed successfully. And right here, you can see a bit of documentation on what this extension is, what you can do with it, and where to start from basically. So once you have this done, you should see a little icon right here showing the RapidAPI icon. Once you click on that, if you expand this, you can see now that we have the RapidAPI client extension successfully installed. So now that we have the VS Code extension installed, let's start testing it out, and let me show you what this extension can do. So right here in Chrome, as you can see, I have this like demo API. It has some response, so we can just use it to test out the RapidAPI extension. So what we can do now, since I have that copied into my clipboard, I can actually create a new request just from the URLs copied on my clipboard. Let me show you what that means. So let's open the command palette again, and then if we search RapidAPI, so you can see it says create new request from clipboard. If I click on that, you can see that automatically the link that I copied is placed there. And if I just remove the HTTPS and just go with the link and click send, it gives me the response very seamlessly and very fast. So that is one thing we can do with this. We can create multiple requests. So let's paste that link right there again and click send. You can see that it gives me that very easily in like a JSON format. So let's close this up a little bit. We can get it in a text format, which is kind of similar to the JSON format, but it's always better to see in this way. And one thing we can also do is to create a code spinet for our response. For example, we have this response, right? And let's say we come here and change this to Python. We are going to get a code spinet. We can either copy the code and open a new file and paste it there, or we can just click this icon directly and it just opens a new window, a new tab, and it shows us like a code spinet of like an interface from the response of that API that we called, which is very good and very smart. And we can also change our VS Code themes and it adapts to it basically. So let's open our command right there, and let's say we change our theme to, let's say, solarized. Yeah, so we change it to solarized dark. As you can see, the colors change and everything changed seamlessly. So that is a very good experience. So now what we want to do is to create a new Python project. So we're going to create an API based project using FastAPI. It's going to be a very simple one. We're just going to use it to test the RapidAPI extension and also the new version of RapidAPI. So let's get straight into it. First of all, you want to make sure you have FastAPI installed if you've not used FastAPI before. To do that, just open your command prompt and run pip install FastAPI. It's that easy. But once you have that installed, let's get straight into coding. So I have this new file created here. I named it api-app.py. And what I'm just going to do is to just install FastAPI straight away. So from FastAPI, import FastAPI. So once I have that imported, I'm gonna initiate FastAPI and say app equals FastAPI. So as you can see, I have that done. And what I want to do now is to just have like a simple Python dictionary. So this API is going to be the API of the world richest men. So we can just have a new Python dictionary that says richest people. And now what we can just start to say, let's say Elon Musk. And we can specify, let's say, their net worth. I'm not sure what their net worth is, but let's just say like 280 billion USD. And let's have like just 5. Not sure what the correct data is, but this is just some test data, obviously. And the second is Jeff Bezos, I think. And let's also say like 250. And we can probably say Bill Gates, hopefully is the one. Probably like something like 190. And they give you 2 more. And let's just say whoever is the next richest, Mark Zuckerberg. Unless like 150. And yeah, that should be enough data to use this. And let's make sure we have our comma right here because it is a Python dictionary. And let's just get rid of this last one. So we have that. And what we're just going to say now is we're going to create our first endpoint, right? And that endpoint is going to be, let's say, / richest people. So it's going to be like at app.get. And what we want to say now is / richest people. So this is our endpoint. If you've not used FastAPI before, what I'm basically doing is using this FastAPI, let's say class or method that I initiated, and I'm using it to create a new endpoint. So let's say our website will be something like info.org. So once someone comes to info.org / richest people and then they send a request to this particular URL or this endpoint, then we want to do whatever I do below now. And let's create a new function that says richest people. And we're just gonna go straight to it. Let's pass for now. So what I just did here is, yeah, we can have that. What I just did here is, as I said, creating a new endpoint. And under that endpoint, that means when a user tries to send a request to this, which is a get, using a get method, whatever is done in this function is what should be shown to the user, or that's the response that's meant to be given to the user. So we just have this function named richest people. We name it whatever we want to name it. And right here, let's just return the richest people dictionary that we did. So since we have that, very easy, very simple. Why I love FastAPI for building like quick projects, because you can easily get an API running in like 5 to 10 minutes, just as we did. So as you can see, this works perfectly fine. Now let's save this file and let's test it out. What we just want to do is to open our command prompt or terminal, since I'm on a Mac. And what we're going to do is to make sure that we are in the same directory as this file. So let's say ls, and we can see our file in here. Now since we have that, what we're just going to do is to say uvcon. So when you want to run your FastAPI project, you must have uvcon installed. So if you don't have it installed, all you just need to do is type pip install uvcon. And if you're on a Mac, make sure that you type pip3 install uvcon. So having that said, we're going to use uvcon to run this project, and we're going to say API app. So this API app which I specified is the name of the file, as you can see here, but we are not adding the file extension. So we just say API app and we say column app, and this app is basically the name of the variable we used in here. And what we're just going to do now is to type reload and click enter. So as you can see, it gives us a localhost, a port where our project is running successfully. So what we can just do is to come back into Chrome. We can get rid of this now and just paste that. So once we paste this, we aren't giving any response, and that is obviously because in here we only specify the endpoints for /richest people. So we have to type /richest people to get a response. So as you can see, it gives us a blank response, which is we're meant to get the dictionary which we specified here. But as we can see, if we look in here, there's a clash. Basically, there's a name convention clash because we have a function having the same name as the dictionary. So let's just change that and let's say richest people list to this, and in here let's return that. So once we have this done, let's save it. It's automatically going to refresh, and let's go back. Now we should have our response. So as you can see now, we have our response, and this is good. This is what we want to see. So now what we're going to do is to deploy this API app that we have on the web. And to do this, we're going to use Heroku. So it's very easy and very quick. What we're going to do first of all is to create a new file. We're going to name it proc file. So let's save this in the same directory that the API app is. So we name it proc file without any extension and just say save. And we're going to paste in this code in here. So you can just type in this if you're following along with this tutorial, and we'll save that. The next thing we want to do is to have the requirement.txt file. So let's cut out of this terminal down here. Let's enlarge it a little bit, and let's just say pip freeze requirement.txt. So now that is going to create a requirement.txt file. If I press ls, you can see we have the proc file, the API app, and requirement.txt. Now what we want to do is to push this onto GitHub. So we're going to go into GitHub. Basically, we have Heroku, right, and we have GitHub. So instead of using the Heroku CLI to deploy it, we just want to deploy it straight using GitHub because that is faster. So what we just need to do is create a new repository and use that to deploy our app on Heroku. So right here, we click on new repository, and we can just name it richest people API. And then make it public and create the repository. So now that we have this, what we just need to do is to push it onto GitHub right now. So we go into where we have, that is my terminal, but we go into this terminal right here. So let's just do git init. So initialize a new repository, and we don't need to add a readme. Let's just git commit. So now what we just need to do is to do git branch main. Just follow the steps basically. And this, and then let's just push it. It says it wants to sign in. Let's allow it to sign in. We give it authorization, then open back VS Code. Yeah, let's do everything it wants, and yeah, everything works successfully. So if I come here and then I hit refresh, so as you can see, we have everything in here successfully. We have all the files. So now let's just come into Heroku and create a new app basically. So let's just have the same name that we use right here. Let's just copy that weird name, but since it's for a demo, we can just leave that. Name must start with a lowercase. Okay, so I think we need to use underscores. Okay, so let's just say richest people API. So that is available, and let's create app. Now the app has been created successfully. This is how we deploy it using the Heroku CLI, but we want to use GitHub, so we just come here. It already has my account connected, so you just go ahead and connect that. And the repo name, so let's just take this, that's the name. We paste it in there and we hit search, and that is it. We hit connect, so we'll give you a minute to connect, and then we want to deploy it on the main. And let's first enable automatic deploys, and let's just deploy it. So we're gonna give it a minute to deploy. So as you can see right here, it says deploy to Heroku. This means everything has been deployed successfully. So now let's go ahead and view that. We click on view, it takes us to this link. So we have here saying detail and not found. That is good because we didn't specify any response for the home page. But if we go to /richest people, now we see the response that we returned, and that is what is showing right here. So everything is working successfully. We've been able to deploy this API app on the web. So now let's go ahead and try this out in the RapidAPI VS Code extension. So what we can just do now, like we've been doing before, we can just create a new request and paste the link. But let's just make it, let me show you another feature that the RapidAPI extension has. So if you use VS Code occasionally, and let's say you have something like API endpoint URL. So you have this variable, right? And then in the variable, the variable has a value of this link. So if you use VS Code a lot, and let's say you are building an application and you're just trying to, get a request from a link or an API link, an API endpoint, but you want to test it first of all before you even run your program, this is where it comes in handy, because like now we have this link, and what we can just do is to right click on that link anywhere in that link, and we will see that RapidAPI has this option that says create new request. So once we click on that, it just creates new request for us right here in VS Code. Just get rid of that and hit send. Now that we hit send, you can see that everything is working successfully. It's able to get us and show us the response that we need. Now that we have everything created successfully, we've been able to build our API using FastAPI. We've been able to, install RapidAPI VS Code extension and test everything now and see that it's working perfectly. Let's just take this API that we deployed and put it on RapidAPI Hub. Right here on my screen, you can see that I'm in my RapidAPI dashboard. This is actually the RapidAPI Studio. If you've been in RapidAPI for a while, you automatically see the difference. And what we're going to do now is to put this API we created on the RapidAPI Hub. So the RapidAPI Hub is basically like a marketplace where we have thousands of APIs. So what you can just do is just search for any API you want and you'll be able to use it. So we as developers want to put our API on their platform. So it's very easy and simple. First, you need to sign up, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below where you can check it out. So let me just walk you through how to do this. What you just need to do is to come here to add API project, and the name, let's just name it richest people. Description, returns top 4 richest people in the world. Category should, let's see, data, yeah, and let's just say add project. So now this is going to create the project for us. Let's give it a minute. So now we have all of that created. What we just need to do is to come into hub listing, and we're going to fill in this form quickly. We don't need to fill in everything, like the logo. We're not going to fill that in, that is optional. It already fills the category, the description. We don't need this, we don't need this. And what we're just going to do is to make sure that the visibility is public. And once we know that's public, we have to add the base URL. So the base URL is just basically the link right here without the endpoint. So right here, that is the base URL, and we're just going to paste that in there and hit save. So now the data has been updated successfully. That is the base URL. What we just need to do now is to come into endpoint, and right here we just create a new REST endpoint, and let's name the endpoint richest people, and returns list of richest people. And what we just need to do now is to specify the endpoint, and the endpoint right here is richest people. So we come back here and paste that. Let's make sure we get everything correctly, richest people. And what we just need to do is to scroll down and click save. It's that easy. Everything is done under 5 minutes. Well, now we can view it in Hub. So we just come to the right top corner and view in Hub. So you can see it shows everything richest people by code with Tommy, richest people API. It returns the top 4 richest people in the world. So, you can use this to build like a full-blown API. And we're going to wait for it to load. It's basically loading like a playground where we can test our API and all of that stuff. So we're just going to give it like a few seconds and it's going to do that. And this is actually like a link that it creates where people can, see your API. For example, you can search for lots of APIs here, like an SMS, an API to send an SMS to, get weather data or anything you want to send. And each of them has their unique link. So that's what it did for us also. As you can see, using your username and the name of the API, it creates a unique link for that. Now let's test out this API. So you can see it already gives us that we have the richest people endpoint with a get method. So we hit test endpoint. Good. As you can see, it tells us we have 4 items and it gives us all the data that we specified right here in our code. Everything is working successfully. It's been a good process and seamless building process. And the main point of this video was to show you how to use RapidAPI VS Code extension. So for 2 different ways, for 2 different things. If you are just a developer, developing in VS Code, and for example, you need to test your API. For example, you want to use an API, but you want to test it before actually running it in your program. You can just right click on it and, create a new request using the RapidAPI VS Code extension. And also, if you want to build like an API and actually, put it out there, this is the best platform for you. So I hope you understood everything we did in this video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. All the links to everything we did or used in this video is going to be down in the description below. The link to the RapidAPI site where you can sign up and use, the link for the VS Code extension, everything is going to be in the description below. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.